Greetings and salutations, name's Deltran, doing Fire Emblem Heroes, talking about Summer Tiki, trying to make her into a defensive dynamo so that she could go ahead and just ruin so many people's days and dreams of advancing to tier 20. I know that that's my dream, and I know that it gets ruined all the time. Anyway, I'm sorry. If you'd rather turn her into something for PvP use, I have a link for you. If you'd rather do something that's just cheap and effective, I also got another link for you. But before we talk about those, let's talk about defensive builds. Oh yeah. It's actually a little hard to work with her on a defensive frame of mind. You could keep Melon Crusher on her, and you might as well use Moonbow. As far as an assist skill goes, either none or a rally. Don't bother using a movement skill for defensive teams. It's going to do nothing but give your opponent a free win. We're skipping the A slot for just a second. The B slot, something like Quick Riposte 3, or even Quick Riposte 2, honestly, is going to be what you're going to want in this slot. Even though she has a pretty decent speed, you need to ensure that whoever attacks her is going to regret it, and so that's a part of the way we do that. Since we're keeping her high defense, theoretically, we want to give her defensive drive too, so that she can buff everybody else in the area and keep their defenses nice and high. This is just a part of the whole non-friendly fighting that you should be looking to do whenever you're creating a defensive team. You don't necessarily need to kill them quickly, you need to screw up their plans, and defensive drive does that very well, and it lets you mix and match unit types if you're not running, say, Horsey Emblem or something like that. Now let's take a look at a couple of different A-slot things. Keeping with the Moonbow idea, you could either go with attack and defense if you have a spare Spring Crom as of recording. That's the only thing that really fits in there. That's going to get you the best kill ratio for what you've got going on. Otherwise, you can go with close defense or distant defense. She comes with close defense. If you want to switch out to distant defense because of the defensive team that she's going to be on, go for it. Technically, there would be more losses because then you're opening the floor to a lot of melee units to coming up and punching you in the face. The other build here is Miracle and Heavy Blade 3. I'm going to talk about that before we show you what the above build does. But with Miracle and Heavy Blade 3, what you're vying for here is that your strength is high enough that you're going to let her live through like 1 or 2 fights. She's going to trigger Miracle, and then somebody's going to get stupid, try to kill off your Summer Tiki, and it's not going to happen. She's going to stick around with 1 hit point thanks to Miracle, and then it's going to screw up their run. So that's sort of what we're looking at here. And of course, anything we talk about here for defensive teams also works equally well whenever you're talking about putting her into a PvE situation. So she's going to stick around, and really she's just mostly going to be an anchor at this point in time. She's not going to be a linchpin for you. This build is really geared towards screwing up PvP players, but when it comes down to it, if you just need something to live, Summer Tiki will definitely do that for you, especially using that build. Let's take a look at some numbers. We're talking 49 wins. If you're going up against a team that has Fury 3 on it, there's 42, Life and Death 3, because you're likely to encounter a couple of Life and Deathers whenever you're on defensive teams. Yeah, you're at 49 still. The rest of the stats are shown there for you, and that's with using attack and defense. Like I said, you're going to have a lot less wins going with any kind of other defensive A-slot skill, but you're going to have a lot less losses. So, I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. It depends on how you want to fill out your team. If you need her to be able to actually stand and deliver and make the opponent have a really difficult choice, then you're going to want the attack and defense. Let's take a look at the obituaries. 49 wins, once again, is what we're talking about here, and you're doing really, really well against a couple of key ones. I just listed some of the important ones right here. It is absolutely wonderful to see the likes of Effie and Ephraim here, as well as a few different dancers and singers, so that is very, very encouraging for you. you can pretty much get away with any IV set you want here. This is a neutral IV set that we have shown here, but honestly, as long as they're not minus defense, you can run it in this slot and she's going to perform rather well. So if you have a terrible Summer Tiki and you don't want to get rid of her, and you happen to have at least a quick riposte 2 sitting around, you should probably give this build a consideration. It might help you out in some PvE, and of course you can always use it for the defensive team whenever she's a bonus unit. Let's keep on taking a look here at what other things that we've got going on as far as losses. A lot of mages. You probably shouldn't be surprised, but a lot of mages. You're also looking at Ryoma, Legion, Lloyd makes an appearance again, Navarre makes an appearance, and of course, as I was already talking about before, it's not really crazy to notice that someone like Laszlo is here. So there's a lot of high-profile losses that you have, but then again, the opponent is always going to want to put a Sword Lord against a squishy green target, so you probably want to just make sure that your defensive team has a blue character right next to Summer Tiki to make them pay, or at least think twice about going after her. Otherwise, she can handle her own and even kill several reds on her own, so this isn't that bad of an idea to go with. And hey, if you could do me a favor, if you're on mobile, rotate your phone back to portrait mode. If you're on desktop, hit escape to exit full screen, and click that like button if I've given you something to think about. I would greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them down below, and until next time, take it easy.